Hello YouTube and welcome back to another game of Starcraft 2 Legacy of the Void. This is going to be a best of 7 between our two nations, Poland and Korea. South Korea, that is. So let's jump straight into it, introduce our players, and then begin on with the game. So our first player spawning on is the red Zerg, top right hand side of Dusk Towers is Elazer. Elazer is representing both Poland and Team True eSport. His opponent is going to be no other than INnoVation, who I believe had a massive amount of success back in the Heart of the Swarm and Wings of Liberty games. He is representing both Korea and SK Telecom T1. So let's see how this game progresses out. It does look like we have quite a standard beginning from our Terran player here, starting off with the barracks and gas just to basically bring out a few Reapers. Now, just before we begin, our question of the series for this one is going to be, who is your favorite StarCraft 2 player? Now, this could be a pro player, or it could be maybe, I don't know, a grandmaster player. And obviously I don't mean myself or yourself or whatever. You can't say I am my best player. You have to say somebody who's a pro, somebody who's well known. And hopefully we can check if there's any specific people who are like, you know, the top favorites or something. Now, my favorite, I would probably have to say, would be between TLO and probably Huck. Yeah, I mean Huck and TLO would probably be my two favorite players. If I had to throw in a Terran in there as well, I would probably say Liquid Bunny, because he is just so damn good and so damn entertaining to watch. So yeah, enough of that talk. What is your favorite StarCraft 2 player? Leave it in the comments below. So let's see what's going on here. INnoVation going for the expansion actually quite soon as well. So he only built one barracks with a reactor, and that's pretty much it. Going for that factory as well. Is it going to be a Destiny Cloudfist build? It could very well be, but we'll see about that a little bit later. Looks like the expansion has of course gone down for Elazer as well. Also already complete, as you can see here. Metaballer boost also on the way. Did pull off most of his probes, or drones rather, off the gas as well. So I think he's just going to basically decide to macro up pretty hard and then see where it goes from there. Now, one drone on gas typically means that he can afford to spend it, but he still needs a little bit of gas. I mean, he can afford to move all of the other drones off it, but he still needs a little bit. So possibly going to be able to see a Roachborn or something like that coming out a little bit later, and then he will pop down two more drones onto the actual gas. But for now, I think that it's just going to be a bit of Zergling aggression after he macros up fully though. But looking at what we have on the field right now, it doesn't appear like he's interested in anything else. So is this Destiny Cloudfist? Yes, it is indeed. Fist up in the air, and it looks like we have two Hellions as well. Now that's probably just building onto the fact that he's trying to do some sort of harassment build right now. So Hellions followed by a medevac and marine drop. Now typical timing for a medevac to show up at your base with marines is about 4.5 minutes. So 4 minutes is roughly when the medevac comes out, maybe a little bit earlier, and then 4.5 minutes is roughly how long it'll take for it to start showing up in your base. So of course you want to be prepared for that. If you see that there's no other aggression from the Terran player, you probably have to be careful a little bit in case it is a medevac drop, since that's actually a very, very common and very popular and very powerful build. So 4 Hellions in total now. There have been of course spotted, so Roaches are also on the way here. As you can see, does appear that he has got 3 gases in total at the moment. And this is going to be very, very good for holding off against Roaches, against Hellions, because Zerglings are one things you really, really do not want to send against Hellions, simply because you're just going to lose them straight away. I mean, they're very fast, they can kite around. At the same time, they're just very difficult to deal with. Now, where's that medevac? It looks like more and more Hellions being streamed in here as well. Now, at this point, Marines, of course, going to be found. Oh, he's turning him into Hellbats. That's quite interesting. And he is actually engaging this straight on. Definitely not scared of it. Now, sniping off a few queens early on in the game. Very, very important, of course. So let's see what kind of commitment he's going to give to this. It does look like some of his units are getting caught out. He is, of course, being surrounded here. So this is actually very important right now. Getting surrounded by all of these Roaches and Queens. And I think that that Elazer is not going to have any issues holding off against this. Now notice that he did load up that with just Marines, I believe. Yep, that is indeed the case. Is going to snipe off this queen. No, he does not quite get it. Just about manages to get away. Now, the one thing to notice, he only destroyed one drone, and that was actually in the first engage here with the Hellions. So far, he's actually not done anything significant with this drop. And I think that he probably would want to back off and reconsider his options, because right now I do believe he's lost a little bit more in supply worth than Elazer. So 7 Hellbats, 5 Marines. Of course, I would say definitely not a worthy engage, especially considering he had to sacrifice economy for that. Now 2 Widow Mines moving on away here. Possibly going to drop these in behind the mineral lines, and there is a Spore Crawler in position as well. This basically denies the ability to do this. Also denies the ability for Liberators to come around the side as well. And there we go, Queen is in position. Oh, this medevac, so many units getting dropped out of it and losing that Widow Mine as well. That's very, very unfortunate for him. And this is going to be putting Elazer in actually quite a good position. Look at the count of supply. 65 to 51 workers, 34 to 13 army. Very good position, I have to say. This is probably as good as it'll get for him right now. Managing to catch out that medevac without doing any damage. Oh, and a few Hellions getting taken out here as well. Elazer in such a commanding lead. This is beautiful play right now. Looks like one Overseer getting taken out here. Nothing too significant being done. Let's have a quick look at the income tab. It does appear that Elazer just a little bit ahead. And that is, of course, because he does have the extra base. With the second one coming up as well. Let's see. So we do have a few upgrades going down for both both of our players. So he has the Glider Constitution, level 1 Carapace and ranged attacks. And INnoVation, of course, responding with the level 1 armor and weapons for bio, as well as the marine shields, which of course is probably one of the most crucial upgrades for a marine based army. Now this Banshee has been flying around. I wonder, has it actually gotten any kills? No, it has not. It does not have stealth either, so it's going to have very limited use. It's essentially going to be here just to spot out what's coming out. Otherwise, if it doesn't, I mean, if it gets any bit closer to anything, it's just going to get wiped out straight away. Now that Changeling, funny enough, didn't actually change into anything. It just kind of waddled on away. It's going to head on down here. Probably going to get spotted very, very shortly. And there we go, the Marine now being created here. And let's see how much he actually spots with this. Probably just going to get killed off here by pretty much anything. Siege Tank, nope. Marauder, nope. Okay, and the full on engage here going down. There's Roaches, there's Ravagers. One Siege Tank getting cleanly cleaned up here. And I do think this is a great position for Elazer. He's got all of the SCVs backed off in the back there. And he's got a good engage and very good control of that ramp. So there is a Siege Tank up here. It's not going to be able to do a whole lot considering the amount of units that Elazer has here right now. 18 SCVs in total destroyed. I really hope that's not you guys. SCVs, I mean Starcraft, Vaipo group, community. Okay, that was terrible. But you get the point. 19 SCVs have been destroyed here. This is quite huge. That's a full base shut down for INnoVation right now. Also losing a building there, which is a little bit unfortunate. And it does look like Elazer now has a fort base also fully established. Does have a bunch of drones here as well, so we'll be able to saturate that very, very shortly. And as you can see, there was an infestor pit already created here. Infestors are on the way, and Hive was also researched. So Ultralisk Cavern is on the way. Now this is exactly what Elazer needs. He's got more workers. He's got similar supply actually, funny enough, but he's got the extra base on top of INnoVation. So INnoVation does have enough SCVs to mine on this base, but he doesn't have another fort base just like Elazer. So I think this is an absolute prime position for Elazer to be in. He could probably max out within just about 3-4 minutes right now, based on the 4 bases that he has. 3 Siege Tanks moving in here, possibly going to snipe off a few drones with that. Oh, picked them up, and there we go. Doesn't manage to do too much of that. Oh, one of those siege tanks actually getting taken out. A lot of Ravagers here. This is actually quite good for him as well. It'll be very difficult to do. Oh, almost managing to lose that siege tank as well. One gas getting taken out here. Carapace is being researched for Elazer, so that's definitely something to note. I want to have a quick look. He does have level 2 Carapace up at the moment as well. So, Chitinous Blading plus level 2 Carapace will give Ultras, I believe, 7 armor if I'm not mistaken. If he gets level 3 armor as well, those Marines are going to be absolutely useless against him. Let's see what's going on here. These Roaches and Ravagers are so quick on creep. It's actually quite crazy. And I do think that he's still in a good position. I mean, it's 90 to 77 army supply. It's definitely not over yet. I mean, it's far from over. And Ultra's going to pop out here. Is he going to engage along with that Ultralisk? Yes, he is indeed. Look at that. Ultralisk running straight in there. And no, decides to back off. These siege tanks are a little bit menacing right now. I mean, it's difficult to break out of a siege push. Simply because, you know, if you get too close to it, unless you have enough to fully engage and commit to the fight, you will lose a lot more than the siege tanks because, or than the Terran, I mean, because the siege tanks have such a long range, such a huge amount of damage, and before you even reach his army, he could potentially snipe off 4 to 5 of your units. Looks like a base here getting attacked. Gonna possibly deny it as well. No, he's not. So it does just destroy 2 queens, which is no laughing matter. If you look at it right now, there is a total of about 2 queens on the field at the moment. So a quick confirmation of that. Does look like that's indeed the case. So he's gonna have to create a few more queens. Level 3 Carapace is on the way. Level 1 attack for melee is on the way as well. So might be going for an Ultra Ling push, which would be quite awesome. Haven't seen one of those in quite a while. And yeah, he definitely wants to stay away from the Spore Crawler. Just like a bit of harassment going down here. More buildings getting destroyed. I think that was just Spine Crawlers most likely. Just getting them destroyed very quickly here. And this is a very, very annoying situation here for INnoVation. Or for Elazer rather. INnoVation has drops going down left and right. And INnoVation just basically has to split up his army. Now, as the Zerg player, of course, you have the ability to... Ooh, Thor's coming out. This is so cool. We haven't seen Thor's in so long. But as a Zerg player, you have the ability to send off Zergling armies and split up your army. But most of the time, you want to stay in one big group and just overwhelm your opponent. Now, if he has to defend against drops, that, of course, becomes a little less significant. Now, the 2... Ultras here again just cleaned up very, very quickly. There is Thors on the field, something we definitely do not see often enough. Probably because they cost so much, but at the same time they do really well against Ultras because they do a lot of damage against armored units. So these siege tanks getting dropped off here. And these medevacs are a little bit low on health, so one Ravage could actually kill a lot of these off. Gonna have to be very, very careful. Siege tanks here. Doing a bunch of damage, managing to snipe off 2 of those medevacs. That's actually quite good for him here. And there we go, the Ultras go up again here. I think that Elazer is in a lot of trouble. INnoVation, his army is absolutely dominating right now, and this siege tank and Thor push is doing him a lot of good right now. This base definitely going to be denied. Not much that Elazer can actually do about this. And all of these drones also getting cleaned up while going on back to the main base. Ultralisk moving in here, also gonna get cleaned up very, very quickly. Ultralisk doing Thor is doing so much damage, and of course the GG called out. INnoVation takes game number 1 between Poland and Korea. And wow, that was an absolutely action-packed game. Elazer was doing so well at the start, but then just turning on its head, unfortunately. And that is it for game number 1. I hope you have enjoyed it. Please, of course, leave it a thumbs up if you did. And just a quick reminder of our question of the series: who is your favorite StarCraft 2 professional player? And if you want to say why, of course you're welcome to. You don't really have to, but that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys in game number 2, where we're gonna see INnoVation take on somebody else. Good luck, have fun, take care of yourself, and I'll see you guys in game number 2.